Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the 440 Sports Network, brought to you by M.L. Rose. 7 amazing, spectacular, very real locations. Many people are talking about them all across Middle Tennessee, the best ranch dip in the city. According to my wife, I don't need a second source on that. That is Trey Wallace. I am Braden Gall. Trey, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hey, buddy. I'm good, man. Getting ready for a trip down to Georgia this weekend.
Going to Athens, huh? When I was in school and I would drive down to those games, I always liked to take the windy, weavy one right through the Smoky Mountains. I like that one. But that was a younger me, Trey, a younger me.
I've taken like mini trips down to Athens since I live in East Tennessee. I'm not going to give out my direct location, but since I live in the eastern part of Tennessee, so like I just find it more convenient just to take Chattanooga to outside of Atlanta and then go to
just take 75 to
yeah. I don't want to go through 24. Commerce and all that stuff, and especially when I'm driving back at 1:30 in the morning. It's a 2-lane highway.
That's true.
No, I ain't doing all that.
No, but like when you're in college, I was probably with somebody I was trying to date, and we were in a car having a good time, probably with other people in the back seat doing whatever they're doing.
You can also stop by the Cherokee Casino too if you wanted.
Sure, because I had so much money to gamble with when I was in college. Before we get started, we got lots of stuff to do today on the show. The new rivalries are out, the permanent 3 rivalries for each team, at least permanent for the 4 years. I think the SEC did largely a great job, so I want to ask you about that. We're going to talk about the quarterback news at Oklahoma, the quarterback news at Ole Miss. We'll get into that. The hot seat is getting warmer in Fayetteville and warmer in Gainesville, if it can get any warmer. And then we've got some huge games coming up this weekend. Not a huge slate of action from last weekend in terms of developments outside of the Oklahoma win and the Missouri win. So I want to ask you about those two teams and how legitimate their championship hopes are. Certainly the John Mateer news putting a big damper on Oklahoma's chances. That is for sure. M.L. Rose, of course, if you're at one of those locations, the reason you go to M.L. Rose on a Saturday, Trey?
Yeah.
Number one, you get 2 beers for the price of 1.
Well, damn. Okay. All
right. I don't think I need to say anything else. But they do have great 2-for-1 specials all during pregame, during game day, during the first window, and a little bit into the second window. So make sure you get there early. They have a wing special. So if you buy 16 wings, you get 8 for free. So we're already at free beer and wings. And then, of course, which is like another show, I think. And then, of course, when you order those wings, you say, man, University of Tennessee, you say Vanderbilt. And I'm looking at the notes right here from last Saturday.
Yeah, this actually.
This is legit, and this is just my location. So I'm fat. This is the one in East Nashville where I live. I'm just curious, but 480 wings for Tennessee, 308 wings for Vanderbilt. Way to go, Doors. You want to know who's third?
Auburn.
Alabama's third. Georgia is fourth.
Where the hell are all the Nashville Auburn alumni at?
Then Kentucky, then LSU. Then it's a tie between Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn. So there you go. There you go.
Lord. Okay.
But there's a competition going on. So go to M.L. Rose, order wings, get free beer. Tell them who you love in the SEC, and we'll track your wing wars throughout the course of the year. Go to M.L. Rose. All right. So not a huge slate of games last weekend. Miami kind of dominates Florida. Ole Miss dominates Tulane in very impressive fashion. We'll talk about that game coming up. A lot of 70, 56, 55, 56-point totals. Missouri with a really fun fourth quarter win over South Carolina. So we'll get to all that stuff and then look ahead to next week. But I'm curious, the scheduling, I think the 2 notable rivalries that got lost in all of this, certainly as a Tennessee alumni, Tennessee-Florida is something that I think is really missing on this permanent schedule for Tennessee. When I hear the CBS theme song, I think Tennessee versus Florida. I know older people think Alabama, Tennessee or whatever, but I think younger folk might think Georgia, Florida.
Or Alabama, LSU.
Or Alabama, LSU. That's the other one that's kind of missing. I do think because of that, Tennessee might have had the easiest draw, relatively speaking, of anybody with Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Alabama as their permanents. What did you make of the job the SEC did it's a very fun but also very difficult exercise if you do it on your own, like a nerd like I am, like I do. It's fun, but it's very complicated. What did you make of it?
I wouldn't have been able to figure it out. I wouldn't know what the hell to do. Like, congrats to them, whatever computer programming, that they bought to do this. Finally, we get to see like Georgia going to A&M. Like, okay, that's exciting. They haven't been there since they joined the conference.
Oh, are you talking about next year?
Well, yeah, isn't that what you?
No, I'm talking about the permanent
Oh,
rivalry.
the 3 permanents. No, I thought
Yeah.
I got it right. I mean, I did. Like, obviously, you can take away like certain games. Like, it's agitating that we don't get Alabama LSU like on the yearly basis as the permanent. Like, that's something too.
Right.
Even, I mean, how big was Florida LSU in our day? You know what I mean? Like,
it's big for you and I, and it's when I talk to like Chris Doring and some Florida players and
Right.
folks that are like our age, they all think it's really big. But I every time I post on this, like Booger McFarland is always like, "This is not a rivalry. We don't care about it."
I mean, well, okay, I'll give you that one. But like Auburn, Florida was a massive rivalry in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
Like, the Ron Franklin, Gottfried calls, like that was big too. Like, so I get it. We're having to move away, different eras. I understand it. Alabama LSU, though, I know we get them next year, and that's fine. But like, I thought that should have been a permanent rivalry, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I really did. And even Tennessee, Florida, like, even you were going to have to give up. You weren't going to give up Vanderbilt. That wasn't going to happen.
And you're not giving up Bama.
And you're not giving up Bama. So the middle ground was Kentucky. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
I would prefer Florida, and I think
a lot of fans would too. I mean, I think ESPN, ABC would probably prefer Tennessee, Florida as well.
The other weird one, and I thought they would go like I think Alabama, you could argue, kind of light, right? Auburn and Tennessee are good rivals, huge rivals, and you have to have them on there. But they're like, to your point, I think they could have done a third game that was large for Alabama, because Mississippi State, they don't need to be playing Alabama every year. I know it's a rivalry, but the one I thought was interesting is, and I know Oklahoma and Alabama go way, 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 way back, but like an Oklahoma-Alabama rivalry that was played every year would be really, really good. And while I love the Sooners going to the Grove every 2 years, that seems really fun. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, but what is that?
That's what I'm saying. It's sort of fabricated, and Ole Miss is not generally at that tier. Right. Normally, without Lane, they're not at that tier. And so I thought, giving Oklahoma a tougher game, giving Alabama a tougher game, those two together would be really fun. So that, to your point about, Alabama LSU would have been good. I am glad that Alabama and A&M, that LSU A&M was preserved.
Yes.
I don't think people realize how interwoven and deeply rooted and long-standing that rivalry is.
Yeah. No, that's heated. So, I mean, I think they did good overall. Like Lane Kiffin talked about it today, and I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much he was like, why the hell is Oklahoma on our permanent rival? Like, we have nothing in common with Oklahoma. Like, what is the point here? Like, okay, and I get it. And then they also tried to, it's like a throwback to the Big Eight. Like, they tried to do a lot of that, I guess. Arkansas,
I'm
and
okay.
and Oklahoma. And
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine if you're keeping it regional. Because the biggest thing that the SEC tried to send me on, what's today, Wednesday, on Monday night was, hey, look at all these talking points. We're trying to keep them within 280 miles of each location. Like, okay, that's fine. But you still got to hop on a plane and go to Missouri or go to Oklahoma, College Station, whatever, you name it. So you're still having to make those trips. Like, so, I mean, I think they did overall. It was intriguing. And I think, to me, that's the biggest thing that stands out. Like, and the other thing is like,
I think they maintained all of the top, like 10 or 12 or 15 rivalries.
Right. And you're also like the Tennessee Florida game, because I know Tennessee fans are upset about that. Like, you'll get your fix every now and then. Like, and it'll be in a even bigger game. Like, it's like a heavyweight title fight that you've been waiting for years, and you finally get it,
And the longest you will wait for any game on the schedule against anybody is 2 years.
Right.
You will see every team in the SEC at least twice over every 4 years.
Well, the good part of it is, like, because we lost Alabama LSU as the permanent rivalry, but we still get that game next year.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm cool with that. That's fine. So, overall, look, they weren't going to please everybody. And by the way, all these schools knew what was going down and what teams they were getting back in spring meetings. Like, they knew.
Yeah. And the obvious ones that people don't necessarily know of as, like, SEC diehards. Yeah. I think people are coming around on this, but Missouri and Oklahoma have played like 96 times. So,
I'm looking that up. So, yeah, it was okay.
Like, they've played almost 100 times. Like, they need to be on the schedule together. And if you look at Texas's, for example, it's A&M, it's Oklahoma, and it's Arkansas. All teams that they used to play against all the time. They have history against. So, like, I do think they did a pretty good job. I agree. Like, LSU, Florida, LSU, Bama, Tennessee, Florida. There's some that got lost, but the beauty of the new 9-game schedule in the 3-6 model is that you get to play everybody 2 times every 4 years. Yes. And that means you're going to make a trip to every other conference location at least once every 4 years, and that's all you need. If you're a student, for example, you get to go to every location if you want to, and you got the resources, apparently.
By the way, what did Tennessee pay the SEC to get Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and Texas on their home schedule next year? If Danny White is already not sitting in his office figuring out a way to hike ticket prices by 25%, I would be stunned.
You can make a lot of money. You can lose some games at the same time sometimes.
Oh, yeah, there are going to be some games lost, maybe. But
that's also an important point, though, because I think Tennessee got the easiest draw of almost anybody in the conference relative to their expectations. And playing Kentucky and Vanderbilt, who they have dominated for 50 years or 100 years, and Alabama's tough. But I think Tennessee's trio is the easiest, which means their other 6 games are probably going to be more difficult than everybody else's. And so they
got it next year on that home schedule.
All right, quarterback news. John Mateer, broken hand, has surgery, out for about a month. We'll see how fast before he can come back. Oklahoma, look, they got after Jackson Arnold. I thought Auburn got hosed by the refs. Look, it wasn't felonious. It wasn't felonious, but it was petty theft or larceny maybe. And there's just one rule in there that it's just totally illegal, and you can't run a player off to the sideline.
But don't worry. Oklahoma told the referees a couple of days before the game, and even before the game, by the way, we're going to run this play. And the referees must have been like, oh, what are they talking about?
I don't get it.
I don't know what they're talking about.
That being said, the referees did not cause Jackson Arnold to hold on to the football 10 times too long the entire game. You've got to throw the football, and he didn't do it. And Oklahoma's got a bunch of great pass rushers, including R. Mason Thomas, who came off the bench in the second, or got to play in the second half and, dominated. But 9 sacks, 10 sacks, who cares what it was? 2 things can be true. The refs stole some of that game from you and did not give you a fair shake at the end to win it. Yeah. But Oklahoma looked like the better football team.
Yeah, Oklahoma. Yeah. And the fact that we know now that John Mateer was playing 3 quarters with a broken hand, in his throwing hand, by the way, it goes a long way. But I take away other thing I take away from that game, brother. Auburn should probably feel pretty good about itself coming out of Norman.
Yep.
If they would have lost that game to Baylor to open the season, I'd have been like, okay, this loss stings a lot more. But the fact they won that game against Baylor, and then the fact they went on the road and they lost the way they did to Oklahoma, it's not the end of the world. Now you get a chance to redeem yourself against the Aggies this weekend.
You know who really, really is frustrated by how that game finished? People like me who had Auburn plus 6.5.
God, I loved it, dude. I had Oklahoma minus a 6.5, and I was like, I'm screwed. They're going to run the ball. Sack, touchdown. Wait, what?
Unbelievable. Unbelievably bad beat. Insanely bad beat by me, for glorious. Me. And I blame Jackson Arnold not throwing the football.
Yes, yeah. You reminded me of Jacob Eason sitting in the end zone, that Georgia-Tennessee game in the past.
Jacob Eason. There's a deep cut.
There's your throwback.
He's a 5-star from Washington. Is that right?
Yeah.
Look at that. Oklahoma will play Kent. They have a bye week this week, which is why if you're going to have a broken hand, you got a bye week this week, and then you go Kent State, which is literally the worst team in college football. So they're fine. But then you get Red River against Texas. You're at South Carolina, which we don't know what South Carolina could be at that moment. And then you're at home against Ole Miss. And then November 1st at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. The question, you finish right now with 5 straight ranked opponents. We knew this schedule was going to be really hard for Oklahoma.
Yes.
If you lose, let's give them a loss to Texas.
Okay.
Because without Mateer, I think with Mateer, the question I was going to ask you is, with Mateer, is this a championship caliber team? And I think the answer is no, because I don't think they can truly run the football. Now, Mateer can do it, but what happens when you have a quarterback who runs the football? He breaks his freaking hand. So I want to know if you think this is a championship team, and can they survive this month without him?
I think, man, I was about to say I think they can. The Red River, and I've talked to some folks, and they're like, we hope he's back by then. My man, you're going under the knife at Senior Sinai today in LA, and it'd be different if it was not your throwing hand, it's your throwing hand. That's going to take some time to come back from. So I think it would be maybe 2 games after the Texas one. I mean, he needs a full month of recovery. I'm not a doctor, but I've read enough Chat GPT on this to understand that this is going to take a little bit longer. And the folks out there that are out there popping up the fact that he might be back for the Texas game, well,
that's 3 weeks.
Look what network they work for, the ones that are popping that up. Okay, they really, really want that on ABC and ESPN. They want folks to tune in. Like, let's just
are you suggesting that Fox and Disney have something to say about football matchups on Saturdays?
Right, exactly. It's almost like a Jimmy Kimmel situation.
K-Dot, good to see you. Auburn got screwed. They deserve to lose, but those who missed calls were ridiculous. Those missed calls.
Why did they deserve to lose? Like,
Well,
I mean,
I thought Oklahoma
was the sacks, and I get that.
I think Oklahoma was the better team, is what he's saying.
I do too. I do too. Okay.
So again, 4 weeks from the Auburn game would be South Carolina on the road. I think they can. If you lose to Texas and you beat South Carolina on the road somehow, some way, the backup quarterback now has 3 games of experience. Maybe you, and that's not an easy thing to do. On the road to South Carolina, Williams-Brice is hard to do. But if you somehow can go with only the loss to Texas, the question is, can you bring Mateer back with only 1 loss, with the gauntlet to finish the season of Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, LSU? And I don't know if that's possible. I just don't. It's the South Carolina game that seems like the whole season could hinge on.
Don't forget, a backup quarterback got a couple wins for Oklahoma last year once Jackson Arnold was benched. I'm just saying, Oklahoma and backups. You know, I get what you're saying, man. It's John Mateer, though. Like, and
he's the reason they're good.
You know what I hate about the whole situation too is that his Heisman Trophy campaign just went up in smoke.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And that sucks because I thought he'd been able to put up enough numbers.
I think your point, though, is that Michael Hawkins played a lot last year.
Yes.
And he did make a bunch of big plays against Auburn last year on the Plains. And so I think.
And against Alabama.
I mean, didn't he play against Texas? Am I wrong? Did he play against Texas? Was he not the starting quarterback?
Yes, yes, because Jackson Arnold got benched in the Tennessee game.
I thought they brought him in. Yeah, he started against Texas, and 34-3 later.
I mean, shit happens. Whatever. Like, it was Texas. Like,
he beat Auburn. He beat Auburn on the road. He beat Maine, and then they lost pretty badly to South Carolina.
But they
Texas,
beat Alabama,
Tennessee. With Jackson Arnold as a starting quarterback.
I know. I just want.
So either way, and then of course Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they've got a huge game this weekend. Of course, coming up, they totally dominated Tulane. That was a very impressive showing against a team that people in the SEC may not give enough credit to. That's a really good Tulane team, and they just physically dominated, which was very impressive. I thought Tulane might give them a run, 45-10 last weekend, but they will stick with Trinidad Chambliss, with the best named quarterback maybe in the history of the SEC. He kind of came in against Kentucky late when Austin Simmons was hurt. It sounds like Simmons is still healthy, is back healthy, and could play. What do you make of the decision? You like going with Trinidad here, or do you like going back to the starter?
What a bad, rough, but good situation for Lane Kiffin to have. Like, let's just be honest. Like, this is not easy for him. Like, if Austin Simmons is 100%, which I've been told he's in that 90 to 100%, so whatever. That means he's 100% and he can play football. Okay. That's it. You got to go with the hot hand. I mean, I'm sorry, you do. And if the hot hand of Trinidad continues to play like this, you stay with Trinidad. It is what it is. Like, and it's not as if Ole Miss was showing out against Kentucky either. Let's be honest. With Austin Simmons at quarterback, so
the defense was the problem against Arkansas, not the offense.
Right. So I mean, we'll see. Like, this is look. Lane had to make this decision, and I think it's the smart one for right now. And by the way, if it doesn't work on Saturday and you're sitting at halftime and it's 10-3 or some shit like that, go throw Austin Simmons in, see what he can do. Like, bring in the relief.
Go to the lefty in the pen.
Right. Like, I think it's a really smart move, and I think it could end up paying off because you're also LSU now has to prepare for a really different type of quarterback. He's different than Austin Simmons, folks. Like, he can run the ball, he can pass the ball, he can make plays outside the pocket, and I think Austin Simmons is a little hampered about that. So I like the decision.
15 carries, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns from Chambliss 2 weeks ago against Arkansas in that shootout. Yes. Last week, 14 carries, 112 yards on the ground, big chunk plays, over 8 yards a carry for him in that game. So he's doing it all different ways. And to your point, you can always go to Simmons if you need him. We'll get to that LSU game coming up in just a moment. LSU dominant over Southeast Louisiana last weekend. We'll see about that. I want to go sort of the same question about Oklahoma. I want to ask, like, Missouri, really fun game against South Carolina. Back and forth, lead changes, all kinds of craziness.
That was crazy.
Like, they have a schedule that kind of sets up for them. I know they have some tough games pending, but is Missouri a championship contender, meaning playoff? Is this a championship type of team? Are they that good? Is this just a function of South Carolina catching South Carolina at the right time, beating Kansas I mean,
Yeah, but
Kansas is a good
brother, like,
team.
what about South Carolina's defense, man? Like, I can't tell, like, what the hell's going on here because did Missouri rush for over 300 against South Carolina on Saturday? Wasn't it somewhere?
Let me check, but yeah, they were good.
Yeah, no, they were good.
285, 48
Right.
carries,
I mean,
285
where the
yards,
hell
2
did
touchdowns.
South Carolina's defense go? So what I'm getting,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think Missouri is a good football team. Do I think they're up to the standards to win an SEC championship? I need to see more. I think Bo Pribula has been a good quarterback for Eli Jenkins. And what they want to do, they're running the football, they're playing good defense, and it just feels like we see this story with Missouri a lot, brother. And now I want to see them like follow through, because I do think that they have a roster to do it, but then it's like the competition is what throws me off. Like Kansas
Kansas
South
is a good
Carolina.
Kansas is a good team.
Right. So I'm saying, how do you weigh that? You know what I mean? Like, what is South Carolina right now?
I think they have. That's a good question. I think they have 2 solid but not great wins over 2 solid but not great teams,
Right.
both of which happened at home, and both of which Missouri kind of had to fight through to win. And if that's what you are, I don't know if that's good enough to go on the. I mean, Oklahoma should have Mateer back by the 22nd of November.
Yep.
Texas A&M, we don't know how great they are. They could be really great, and if they're coming to town, the point is this schedule sets up really well. What's interesting, by the way, is plus 294 rushing differential a good number.
Dude, South Carolina had minus 5 yards rushing.
Minus 9. Minus 9.
Minus 9. I'm sorry. Minus 9.
Plus 295 on the rushing.
And by the way, that was only like negative 22 yards for Lenore's. So let's just be real honest about the rushing numbers. Yeah, that blew me away.
So UMass this week, and then Alabama at home, and it's very possible 5-1, even with a lost Alabama. Then you got a couple of tough road games at Auburn, at Vandy. Those are losable games.
Yes, they are.
And then A&M, Mississippi State, at Oklahoma, Arkansas. It is very nice for Missouri. It sets up very nice.
I like the back half of that schedule. If they can sneak one out, and when I say sneak one out, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but like go on the road and beat Vanderbilt, like you're setting yourself up for a back half. It's nice. So, yeah, no, I like where Missouri stands. I need to see a little bit more because I don't know what the hell Carolina is. That's the problem.
I tend to agree with you. If Alabama goes on the road and beats Georgia this weekend, all bets are off on how good Bama is. And then you've got Bama at undefeated Missouri in a couple of weeks. Like, that's
buddy, you're forgetting one. You got undefeated Vanderbilt at Alabama next.
That's in between?
Yeah,
that's right. There's a bye week. That's right. So
Vanderbilt plays Alabama next week.
So Missouri has 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama. Okay.
College football world would descend on Tuscaloosa for the Vanderbilt game next week.
This is why Ryan Williams
forget Miami, Florida State. We don't need that. We need Vanderbilt and Alabama.
This is why Ryan Williams is talking all that mess about Vanderbilt during the summer.
Exactly. He's setting it up. He knows what he's doing. He's a promoter.
Can you believe Vanderbilt's 4-0? Can you believe that?
They're
going to be 5. They're going to be 5-0 this weekend.
I tweeted out something over the weekend, and folks wanted to come at me. I don't know why. I said Vanderbilt scored 70 points. I said 70 points, and what I meant by that is teams of the past of Vanderbilt don't get over 30. Okay, so for Vanderbilt to come out and beat the absolute hell out of Georgia State, which, by the way, they were supposed to do anyways, but to score 70 points in the process, like this is a different. Vanderbilt's winning games by 30. Okay, like the average is like 35 points.
So Vanderbilt's a 22-point favorite at home against Utah State this weekend, and Missouri is a 43-point favorite at home against UMass. So right now we know almost for a fact that Vanderbilt and Missouri will be a combined 10-0. And get this, Mississippi State upsetting Tennessee is not crazy. You could be looking at Missouri, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt at 15-0.
Could be looking at an Alabama squad that has 2 losses on the season, and 5-0 Vanderbilt's coming to town looking for blood.
Well, that would also give Tennessee and South Carolina combined 4 losses already.
I'm just telling you, man. It's flipping.
Florida has 3 losses already.
Florida's terrible. Let me rephrase. That defense is good, but that offense, dude.
Well, so that's a good segue. M.L. Rose, everybody, go get some go get some cheap, good beer specials and some great burgers, great wings. 7 great locations all across Middle Tennessee. M.L. Rose. I'm telling you, come to Nashville. Come visit. We know you guys all over the region are coming to Nashville to visit, and it is a fantastic place to come hang out. I'll give you want to DM me or send me a message on Twitter. I'll give you all kinds of great recommendations. But the number one recommendation is on a Saturday or Sunday, you want to watch some ball, you want to do trivia on a weeknight. M.L. Rose has great drink specials, fantastic taps, all good local beers. And then they do a bunch of like collaborations with like Highwire in Asheville, good people in Birmingham. Like they do really good. They've got really good, genuinely awesome beer. The burgers are great, but the wings are spectacular, especially on Saturdays. And they have a brunch menu that includes an SEC sandwich. That's all you need to know. SEC. SEC. Okay.
I'm thinking like a mixture of like gumbo and sausage and chicken and everything thrown into one.
Your Mobile is showing.
Come on, man. It ain't Mobile. Stop that.
Hey, gumbo. When I went down to the Senior Bowl, by the way, I did not realize this, that Mobile had invented Mardi Gras.
No shit. I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you can say shit. You can say shit. It's fine.
We are the home of Mardi Gras. Now,
I didn't know that.
Do it better in New Orleans. There might be more debauchery in New Orleans, and you might not remember your trip to New Orleans, but you will remember that Mobile, Alabama, created Mardi Gras. We have a Mardi Gras museum.
I learned that on my trip to the Senior Bowl in February. By the way, I love Mobile.
Dude, we used to get a week off. We used to get a week off in school for Mardi Gras week, like a whole damn week. Like Christmas, Easter, Mardi Gras.
What is it? The last week of February?
No,
when's Fat Tuesday?
Yeah, February 4th, February 5th.
Okay, so I was there like February 16th, so it must have just happened or whatever.
Yeah,
whenever the Senior Bowl is, it's always right after the Super Bowl.
Senior Bowl is usually the last week of January.
Okay, so I was like 1 week ahead of time then. Okay,
yeah.
They were all setting up. It was great.
Go down there for Fat Tuesday, man. It's a good time. You don't have to worry about like getting arrested or getting pissed on or anything like that. Like
you start talking gumbo though. I start thinking coastline.
You texted me before you went down there and asked for food recommendations. I gave them to you.
It was great. I had a great.
Go to the fish camp.
Dude, I had some good ass food when I was down in Mobile. I love coastal food. Coastal low country food is my jam.
Yeah, I can't get that here in Tennessee. Oh, you want some fresh shrimp? No, I don't want no damn fresh shrimp.
No. But you know what you can get? You can get great wings and burgers and beer at M.L. Rose.
Thank you.
So that brings us to Florida. Billy Napier. Sam Pittman kind of has a weird buyout, and you get outrushed at home by over 100 yards by a group of 5 team, albeit a good group of 5 team. Memphis is very good.
I know.
The Sharks start to circle a little bit. I think Billy Napier's a foregone conclusion. Yeah. I don't know what that looks like. They're off this week, so clearly, if it hasn't happened already, it's not. If they didn't fire him right after the Miami game, they're not going to fire him in the bye week. But you start to look at their schedule, and there's lots of points on there. The Georgia game, you start to look.
Urban Meyer doesn't think he can be fired because his buyout's too high.
It is a big buyout.
It's $23 million. They had that shit ready to go last year. I promise you, it's in a coffer somewhere.
So no real conversation around this. It's just a matter of time, in your opinion.
I wrote today that unless a miracle happens, here's the thing I looked at. I looked at their schedule, bro. I'm talking about Florida here.
It's brutal.
Get me to 7 wins somehow. You can't. You cannot show me 6 wins on that schedule with that offense, and that's the problem. Like
they have 4 more top 10 teams on their schedule,
and the Birmingham Bowl is not going to cut it. Sorry, no offense to Birmingham. I love you, Birmingham, but I'm saying the Birmingham Bowl or the Gasparilla Bowl or the Shreveport Bowl is not going to cut it. Like they're going to have to make a move, and I don't think Florida has to make a move like Oklahoma State or UCLA does. Why? Because they've already got a little black book, a list of names. Yeah. They're already funneling through Jimmy Sexton to figure out who is going to be interested. And one of them will have a documentary on him tonight on ESPN at 7 o'clock.
Which is who?
That would be Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What's interesting about Florida, and
his
I think
wife
this
was a cheerleader at Florida.
This is... I thought she was a cheerleader at Tennessee. This is... no, I know. This is... So what's interesting about Florida to me is no matter when they decide to do it, they will be the number 1 best job available whenever they do it. And I think, like, if Wisconsin decides to pony up and spend $25 million on Luke Fickell, which I don't know if they will, because they don't really have that kind of cash, but Wisconsin might be the 2nd best job. But Arkansas is a little different, because if Arkansas, and their buyout's a little weird, it's structured in a way where they save a ton of money if he's got a certain type of record below 500 against power team. Like
they need him to lose 5 more times.
They need to lose
the buyout to go down. That's what happens. He's 26 and 21.
They are only a 3-point dog at home, so that tells you more about. I think that tells you more about Notre Dame than anything else this weekend. That's a really awesome matchup, by the way. Uniform helmet game, Notre Dame at Arkansas, great. My point is that if Arkansas, if they were to fire Sam Pittman, which it feels like is very possible this year, and we all love Sam, but if they do that, there's a healthy debate, I think, between Virginia Tech, very good program, but in the ACC. Oklahoma State, very good program, but in the Big 12. UCLA, not such a great program, but Big 10 money. I think Wisconsin, ironically, with the Brett Bielema tie, I think Wisconsin would be the only job that I would compare to Arkansas if they were to fire somebody. And none of those jobs, meaning that are they all contacting the same coaches? Are they all competing for the same names? And I think Arkansas would be competing for the same names, but might have the best offer because of SEC money and SEC clout. That being said, no matter when Florida does it, they will be the best job available and should have first choice, no matter when they do it.
And then, by the way, Ole Miss would be the other job that was big.
No, let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to go after Lane Kiffin. He's going to be like, nah, I'm good. Then James Franklin's agent's going to call. And James Franklin's agent is going to call Scott Strickland after they lose to Oregon this weekend. And James Franklin's going to go, why can't I ever get over the hump at Penn State?
Oh, man, I bet I could do it at Florida.
And let me go try at Florida. And if he doesn't do that,
let me get Trace Armstrong on the phone as well, just to middle ground this thing.
Florida will do all the message board genius nonsense, which is like, you got to make Urban say no. You got to make Saban say no. All this garbage. The head coach at Florida will be Eli Drinkowitz. That's it. Because Lane Kiffin will say no. And they won't be smart enough to try to go get James Franklin.
I'll throw it.
Which means Eli Drinkowitz is your next head coach.
You just said Eli Drinkowitz in Florida. Good. I'll throw another one at you.
Why are you tell me why you're laughing so much first.
I can't see Eli Drinkowitz in Florida, man. I just can't.
Okay, let me. Sometimes, every now and then, you see a person who just looks like and acts like Florida man. And you got to have just a little bit of Florida man in you to be good at Florida. You got to be a little bit weird, a little bit off center. You got to be a troll like Spurrier. You got to be a good offensive mind. You got to know how to work a roster. You got to have good relationships higher up above your athletic director. Eli Drinkowitz has all that stuff, and he knows how to kind of play the game. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget, Florida has an interim president right now, too. I know Scott Strickland just signed a 5-year extension, but I would think Scott Strickland's not going to have as much say in the new hire than some people want. Also, I'll throw this one at you.
Jed Fish.
What? No, not damn Jeb Fish. With his wife back in Arizona.
Florida grad.
Arizona to Florida now.
Florida grad Jed Fish.
I don't care.
I don't want Jed Fish in Florida.
What if Shane Beamer? And you know where I'm going there. What if Shane Beamer finally said, you know what? I'm going to restart this thing. I'm going to go home to Virginia Tech.
I don't think he wants it.
I know he doesn't. But man, a lot of people can be persuaded.
That's true.
If South Carolina ends the season with 5 or 6 losses, man.
What's a better job, South Carolina or Arkansas?
I think
historically,
I don't want people to think I'm disrespecting, but I think the more money in building a roster is at Arkansas.
I don't know.
I think John Tyson would come off a lot of money to put a good football team together.
Well, and from what I understand, they have Arkansas's infrastructure around the program has refused to invest until they move on from Sam Pittman. And if there is one school in the SEC above any other school that could manipulate the new rules in college football to their advantage, the way Tennessee sort of has done, there is one school that should be able to elevate itself like Oregon has. And that is, we have Walmart and Tyson money. We have so much more money than almost any other program in our geographic and population sort of situation. Arkansas has the most upward mobility of any team with the new rules, and they got to go spend. So I think it's the best job available if they fire.
There's a reason why you haven't seen Arkansas football players in like Walmart local Arkansas commercials, like in the state. There are people that have a lot of money that are not giving it over right now for NIL. Like you said, Braden,
they're waiting
because they know they ain't going to get no return on investment.
They're keeping the powder dry.
Let me tell you something, folks out there. For the millionaires and millionaires and millionaires that have a shitload of money that just don't care, the one thing they want with NIL is seeing your team fight for a college football playoff spot in the national championship every year. That's their return on investment. They're not getting anything out of it. That's their return on investment.
They are keeping their powder dry for when they get into a bigger bidding wars with teams like Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama and LSU and A&M. They want to compete for those players, and with their budget, they should be able to.
Right.
Doesn't mean you have the right coach and you're going to win games, but they are keeping all their powder dry. And if they fire Sam Pittman, that Arkansas right now today, I would say, is the best job available. And they should be able to pull who they want, whether that's an established name like a Lance Leipold at Kansas or a Matt Campbell at Iowa State or a Willie Fritz at Houston, an older guy, whether that's an up-and-comer like Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech.
John Summerall,
the head coach at Tulane, Kentucky grad, who I think will be an SEC head coach very soon.
Ole Miss.
So there's a lot of jobs. You're just putting Lane in Gainesville, aren't you?
I know what went into the Auburn decision. I talked to him many times about that Auburn decision.
But it's because he loves pace of life and his new routine in Oxford so much, huh?
Right, correct. And Landry's there, and she's in college there, and I get that part. But
he has a daughter in college.
Yeah, she's dating Whit Weeks.
Interesting time for him to drop that news.
Right, no shit, right? And then he said on the teleconference today that they're glad they're happy together.
He's got intimate knowledge of the LSU defense.
Can you that's some fucked up shit.
I'm just saying he should really know his strengths and weaknesses.
Can you imagine Whit coming over during LSU's bye week to take Landry to dinner or something and Lane sitting him down? Okay. All right, you want to stay out till 11:30?
Dude, don't hit the quarterback
What's
late.
What's Brian doing?
Don't hit the quarterback late.
No.
That's all I gotta say.
And then Lane comes out this week. I got a message from somebody this week that said, watch this. And then all of a sudden Lane Kiffin on Twitter says, take the over. And I'm like, this is gold. Like, God bless you, man.
Can you imagine? Oh. Like, first of all, I think Lane Kiffin, because he's a different. I know the documentary is going to paint him in a very different light, and he is a different guy. He's a totally different guy, and that's cool. I actually love that about him. I respect him for it. What I think is interesting is that this version of Lane Kiffin probably genuinely appreciates that Weeks went public the week of the game.
Absolutely.
Now, and there's no chance that he doesn't know already for a long period of time. So, like, this is not
he's
news.
known since the spring.
Right. So this is not news for the family, but it is a brilliant troll job by Whit Weeks to announce it publicly the week of the game against the girl's dad you're dating. That's incredible.
I mean, by the way, shout out to Landry for the one really putting out the picture.
Sure. Well, you don't do that without
permission from daddy.
Yeah. And permission from boyfriend.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that.
The only thing I saw last week that was better than Whit Weeks trolling the coach he's about to play against by publicly announcing that he's dating his daughter is Trent Dilfer placing bets on the sideline before the game.
Oh God, I was FaceTiming my daughter and letting her see the environment and all that shit. Like, dude, stop, bro. Just stop. You are so in over your head at UAB and at UAB, for God's sakes. And I love UAB. Those are my folks. But
a lot of people here in Nashville, they know what Trent Dilfer's about.
Dumbassery. That's what he's about. Dumbassery.
It was
to be gone. Like, that's what you get for firing Bill Clark. I'm sorry. Bill
Clark's a great coach.
Bill Clark's a great coach. Then you bring in Trent Dilfer, who was working at Lipscomb Academy. Like, whatever. God bless him. Whatever. But
bars, Trey. Bars.
I know. Bars. Yeah, exactly. Let me take a picture in Neyland Stadium real quick before we get our ass whipped by Tennessee.
Anyway, I'm not going to hammer him for it, but it's a really weird look and really weird thing to do.
Look.
It's way weirder than Whit Weeks and Landry and Lane.
Absolutely. College players date head coaches' daughters all the time.
I don't know about all the time. I know that I'd be terrified if I was dating Lane Kiffin's daughter. If I was a
not anymore. Lane's chill, bro.
That's
He'll
true.
Take you to yoga at 6 a.m.
He's very evolved, and I appreciate that about him.
It is fascinating to see. Like, I know we're moving on, but it is fascinating to see. I wrote that article about him like 3 years ago. I mean, like, he was texting me at like 2:30 in the morning. He still does randomly, but I'm just saying, like, he really opened up about the changes in their life, and it goes to show you because Layla's moved back from California. Landry decided she wanted to go to high school there. Knox, his son, lives there. Like, he truly is a family. But at the same time, I end it with this.
But he's going to be the Florida coach.
He's still a Lane Kiffin asshole.
So he's going to be a Florida coach.
That. Right. Yeah. Joey Freshwater could return.
Oh, saltwater in Florida. Josh says, I think he's what about Shane Beamer going to Florida, restarting his clock? I think he's performing well at South Carolina, but they're going to want more, as every fan base does. I don't think Shane Beamer is qualified for the job.
I don't think Shane Beamer is a big enough name to take the Florida job.
I agree.
I'm not saying Billy Napier was a big enough name. Billy Napier was just a hot name at the time because of what are you doing at Louisiana Lafayette? And by the way, it's Louisiana Lafayette, not Louisiana and all that. It's Louisiana Lafayette.
ULL.
Right, ULL, Raging Cajuns. But I just don't think Beamer can't go from South Carolina to Florida.
You don't think so?
I just don't.
Oh, Josh says I was thinking more Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech would hire him in 2 seconds.
Virginia Tech would hire him tomorrow.
Yeah, they would.
It'd be a wrap.
Yeah, it's really just does he all those years of calling plays in the backyard with the fake headset on when you're a kid? Did you dream about being at Virginia Tech your whole life,
about being a head coach,
or are you like Arch Manning and Peyton Manning who wanted to break from the family tradition of Ole Miss and go somewhere else and kind of carve your own path? And if you want to carve your own path, this is not an option. But if Virginia Tech is your goal, this is the only time to do it. This is the time to do it. This is your one shot to be the head coach at at the place your father built. And if you want that in your dreams, this is your chance to do it. That's it.
Otherwise, by the way,
South Carolina's better job.
Despise Virginia Tech for everything that they took away from him, from his daddy being at the office every day. There could be some problems that we don't even know about. Like he could hate Blacksburg.
Probably has a different perspective on that now that he's been a head coach for a few years.
No, absolutely does.
Rob says OU fans think that he's a Missouri fan. OU fans think we're not rivals because they dominated the series. You played nearly 100 times. OU fans are a bunch of crybabies for a very successful program for 7 years. There you go. Just wanted to get that in there. A little shot there from a Missouri fan. Okay, so we'll talk hot seat in a little while. We'll continue to monitor that. We already talked a little bit about LSU and Ole Miss. You got Auburn, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State. Bama at Georgia. The Bama-Georgia line is interesting to me because it's down to like 3 or 2.5 points right now, and I trust Georgia a lot more. But Vegas is saying we're kind of buying this resurgence around Alabama. Where are you at on that?
I got this weird feeling in my gut that Alabama is about to go down to Georgia and play them for 4 quarters, and one of them teams is going to win it in the final 3 minutes. Look, Alabama just ate 2 cupcakes in a row, okay? And they were good, and they were delightful, and they got their offense back, and there was nice little sugar cream on top of it, and it was great. Now they got to go to Georgia. But I'll say this to say that. I just watched Georgia a week and a half ago give up 38 points to Tennessee. And they did it in the easiest way possible. Joey Aguilar's just tossing the ball up in the air and having his receiver go grab it. They're beating him with 15-yard cross pass post across the middle. They're hitting him with screen pass. Like
you know Alabama, you know who's better than Chris Brazel?
Ryan Williams
and Jeremy Bernard.
Yeah. I need to see more out of Georgia's defense, man. I mean, the way that they were giving up points, dude, it was shocking to me. I left that stadium. I told you this, and Tennessee just scored 38 points against Georgia and still lost. Like I was like, okay.
So what's the thing? Because like if Alabama loses,
if Jam Miller comes back, I think it really changes things. When I say come back, I don't mean like 3 or 4 carries and then he's done. I'm talking about like come back 20 times. You know
what's interesting is if Georgia, like if Alabama were to win the game, it really would totally change the championship race, playoff race in the conference. If they lose a close game and Florida State ends up being really, really good, they might be the best team in the ACC right now, at least on paper.
Yeah.
And if Alabama's only losses are at Florida State top 10 and at Georgia top 10, and like that's a good resume to be 0-2 with.
Yeah.
And so I think I know we have like smaller margins for error after you lose a game, obviously, but I still don't think this is an elimination game in Athens. I don't think it is for Alabama.
I don't think it is, only besides the margin of defeat if they lose. If they go down to Athens, they get beat by 17 points, they're out of the top 25, and folks are freaking the hell out again in Tuscaloosa after eating their 2 nice little Debbie cakes the past 2 weeks.
If their offensive and defensive lines look the way they did against Florida State, which you could say, man, this was week 1, they got jumped on, week 1's a liar.
Here we go.
If you go to Georgia and you get your ass smoked on both lines of scrimmage, then I think you can start talking about Alabama not being a playoff team. Fine. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that. Why do I think LSU wins the game?
But
I got LSU in the point, and they're getting points.
Yeah, I know that. I think it's because the defense will finally show up and they'll put pressure on Trinidad, and then they'll force Lane Kiffin into a decision to change quarterbacks at halftime, and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. I don't know. This LSU team, more specifically, this LSU defense feels completely different than what we've seen in the Brian Kelly era, and even before that. Like, they're good. To me, the biggest thing on offense was rushing the football, but I think we saw at times with Ole Miss, and I know they played, and I get that part, but they are susceptible to the rushing attack. So I could see LSU going in and winning that game. I really could. I think at the same time, Lane is going to have some play calls dialed up, and they're going to have to figure out they're going to play two-man deep. They're going to double. Who they're going to double? I mean, you're going to put a spy on Trinidad? Like,
I mean, they got dudes that can do that though. Perkins can do that.
I know, absolutely they can. So I'm saying,
the lane can go man to man on the outside. Like, they can do that at LSU.
And how does Ole Miss get past that? I think this lines up. I mean, and the environment, by the way, is not going to get to LSU. I mean, they went to freaking Clemson and opened the season and won. And nothing against Ole Miss. It's about the same size, pretty much. Like
LSU might be the most tested team in the league right now.
Yes.
So I think they're prepared for it. I think Josh asked the right question. Is Nussmeier hurt? I know they said he's sore, but something seems off with him. I agree.
Something seems off of him the same amount as it seems off with DJ Lagway.
Sellers,
hurt.
Arch.
Yes, they're all hurt.
Yeah, except for Arch.
Even quiet.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
Yes. I think Garrett Nussmeier is beat the hell up 3 weeks into the season, but I think he was beat the hell up for some reason before the season even started.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. Maybe something in practice. Somebody just all red in practice.
Those Netflix camera guys just beating the shit out of him?
I guess, dude. I mean, that went over well with Netflix, whatever. I won't.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
All that. Yeah, but I do think he'll be tested. And here's the other thing, too, and you know this is coming. Pete Golding's about to try to dial up a bunch of blitz packages and see how many times I can hit Garrett Nussmeier.
I know you were joking about Kiffin going take the over and everything, but every time he does that, it's not good for Ole Miss. No. But I think this is all LSU's defense. Like, I don't think they're going to win because Nussmeier is going to be efficient, right? Or because they're going to go in there. I love Anderson. I love Durham. Like, I love the pieces they've got around Nussmeier. But I think it's the defense that I trust so much more than anything else in this game.
Bingo. And that's why I think LSU can go in there and win that football game.
I think LSU goes in there and wins. Auburn and A&M is so much better than it's getting credit for right now. So much better.
Reed versus Jackson Arnold. I mean, give it like. My biggest thing was Texas A&M still coming down from the Notre Dame game, but I think enough time has passed. They're okay.
Yep.
I think, to me, I'm going to be interested to see the endurance of Auburn. You just flew out to Oklahoma for a game. You're getting back on a plane. You're going to Texas for a game. You're walking into a hornet's nest, in College Station. Like, can they build off last week, or is last week – yeah. Because I thought that they played really well besides protecting Jackson Arnold. At the same time, this kind of feels like a game where A&M could 17 points, 20 points.
Well, if Jackson Arnold doesn't learn how to throw football,
that's what I'm getting at.
Now, I will say that A&M defense is not what I expected it to be. Notre Dame is not that special on offense, and they put up a bunch of points.
I mean, CJ Carr is not the truth right now. He might be the truth in a year or two.
I think it's a weird special teams play. And honestly, like, again, just why are we not throwing the ball to Singleton and Coleman as much as possible? Like, Arnold, you have dudes. Throw them the ball. Like, let it rip, man.
Yes. You even try. I mean, we got a glimpse of it against Baylor at times. But
I know.
Still,
I'll take A&M, but I like that Auburn team. So maybe Auburn's closer than we thought. I don't know.
I think Auburn goes into A&M and wins. I'm picking Auburn.
Straight up.
I think they learned off last week. I do.
I mean, and they should be angry considering the refs situation. Right. No, Auburn's a team that I've thought all along was wildly underrated. Yes. I thought most of the preseason, Hugh Freeze was sandbagging us. And so,
and you also got to see what Marcel can actually like. I saw what he did in the fourth quarter against Notre Dame and the whole game. I'm not trying to diminish what he did against Notre Dame, but
it's can Auburn cover all the speed and space like Carver and Concepcion and all those dudes? Like they get out in space, they're hard to deal with.
That's it.
So I think that's a fantastic football game. Is this the week that Josh Heupel chokes on the road?
Yeah.
Yes?
We get one a year from Josh, right?
Mississippi State's going to win.
No, I'm not. I think Tennessee can look really bad against Mississippi State and somehow still win that football game. I think they can do it with their running game.
Okay.
You get one piece back on the defensive line in Jackson Moya.
Okay. What's the secondary look like for Tennessee?
It's still garbage. I mean, it's garbage because they don't have two of their star players.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Syracuse game.
Yeah.
Where I think the offense for Mississippi State's going to put up points. They're going to be able to score. They're going to get theirs because they are good. They have a really good scheme going down the field. They confuse defensive backs routinely. And I just don't know if their defense is good enough relative to last year to keep Tennessee's offense in check. Syracuse is better than we thought. Their offense is better than we thought. But they couldn't stop Tennessee down the field. And so
they were.
That's my issue.
Steve Angeli.
That's true. I'm just saying the matchups remind me of the Syracuse game for Tennessee in that both teams are going to get their points because both teams score a bunch. Only one can play defense. And that's my question about Mississippi State. The difference being that was in Atlanta in a neutral site parking lot in a middle of nowhere with corporate logos everywhere. And this will be at one of the craziest stadiums in the conference. That's the difference.
Kenny Dillingham.
I'm just saying.
I just
5-0 Mississippi State, dog. Come on.
Tennessee scares the shit out of me when they go on the road for these types of games.
That's what I'm saying.
Be dead honest here.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody been talking about Joey Aguilar and Chris Brazell and all this offense been doing, and then this is one of those games where they go out like they did against Arkansas last year and scored 11, 12 points. I forget the damn score. I just remember Nico running out of bounds on the final play.
19-14.
Yeah, 14 points.
Wasn't it like 3-0 at halftime?
Yeah, it was a horrible football game. Like a horrible football game.
Brutal.
Yeah, but I don't think Mississippi State's going to win, but it would not surprise me if Tennessee lays an egg.
Lost to a bad Florida team.
They get a week off and then
2 years ago
play Arkansas.
2 years ago, they lose to a bad Florida team.
Yes.
By 13 points, get totally pushed around along line of scrimmage in that game. Then they get just housed by Missouri on the road.
Yep.
Lost to Alabama that year on the road. Almost all the losses, other than Georgia, come on the road.
Just telling you.
Just keep an eye on that one.
Watch
what
out
else?
for the Cowbells.
You got Kentucky at South Carolina.
I don't care.
Notre Dame, Arkansas. Notre Dame, Arkansas could be a fun game.
That was the game.
That's a fun game.
Taylor Green. All right. Goes off.
All right. What?
Arkansas beats Notre Dame this weekend.
Trey Wallace, Outkick.com is the website. You can follow him on Twitter, at Trey Wallace _. You can get to me at Braden Gall, of course. Also, make sure you swing by M.L. Rose if you come to Nashville. M.L. Rose, remember that. Great for families. Great for your boys watching the games. You got great drink specials. You got trivia night. You got all kinds of great stuff. Wing Wars on Saturdays. And a brunch menu that includes the SEC sandwich. So it's just fantastic. So make sure you check that out. What are you working on this week? Where can people find you? Tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah, getting stuff ready to go to Athens. I'll head down there tomorrow night. Get some scene setter stuff on Friday. Get ready for a fun day of college football. Glad it's a 7:30 kick. Watch a little bit of other games besides the Penn State Oregon game, which is at the same time, but whatever.
But
yeah, I know. But it'll be fun. It'll be a fun day in Athens. And then we have a great slate of college football. It's going to be a good weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. Follow all my work, outkick.com if you want to. If you don't, I don't care. Go watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't give a shit.
You better be careful. Yeah, they're gonna censor you, my guy.
Oh my God! No, I just thought I'd have fun with it. Why not? He gave Clay a shout out last night.
Why can't we get along, man? Why can't
everybody just get along? Enjoy some football. Stop worrying about freaking politics and shit.
Hell yeah! College football only lasts like a blink of an eye each year.
We only get 3.5 more months of this. Like, let's be honest. We talk about it for 8 months, and then we get it for 5 months, and that's it. By the way, most of your teams are going to be out of the discussion by middle of November, Thanksgiving. So enjoy it now.
It's week 5 already, man. Already.
I know, and it's still September, so I look at it that way. Like I'm good because it's still September.
And in Nashville, it's still like 112 degrees, so like
Yeah,
it still feels like the summer.
If the good Lord could knock that down a little bit, I'd be real appreciative about that.
Body of Christ, please, baby Jesus, bring us a cold front. ML Rose, everybody, outkick for Trey. You can get to me on the 440 Sports Network on the YouTube page, of course, covering Titans, Preds, Nashville SEC football, you name it. So appreciate all you guys for tuning in, all you guys in the comment section. Please share the show, thumbs up, notifications turned on, all that good stuff. 5-star reviews only on the podcast app of your choice. You want to know why? Because if you do not give us 5 stars, you are a hater. For Trey, I am Braden. Thanks for listening. Enjoy week 5. Safe travels, my guy. We'll talk to you next week.